Welcome to the Power of Design podcast. My name is Jack Osa. I'm an architect, born and raised in Colombia, South America. Years ago, I migrated to the United States to follow my dreams, and today I'm the founder and principal of Osa Studio, a multidisciplinary architectural design firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. In this podcast, we talk about design, business, creativity, and the inspiration we need to create an exciting and powerful built environment.
In this episode of the Power of Design podcast, we sit down with fellow podcaster Patrick MacIsaac with Roby Commercial Construction. We explore how storytelling, leadership, and branding shape the built environment. From radio shows to podcasting to strategic communication, this conversation uncovers key lessons for creative entrepreneurs. Tune in to rethink how you share your voice.
Patrick, welcome to the Power of Design podcast. How are you today?
I am good, Jack. I'm good. It is, as you know, it is a little bit, it's totally different being on this side of a podcast,
right,
than being in charge and the host.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier as the host because you get to dictate the questions that are asked. Yeah. As a guest, you just don't know what's going to happen. So
I know. Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you here because you're a fellow podcaster.
Yes.
And
yes.
I haven't had a lot of people. Probably you're the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And your episode 102.
102,
yeah,
and I'll
102.
be just celebrated 100.
Yes.
You had your wonderful wife as your guest.
That's right. Yeah.
And she has also been on our podcast.
That's right.
Radio show at the time when we were airing on WBT.
Yeah.
And I joked to you and I said, man, now I know who the cool one is in the family.
I'm trying.
No. She was wonderful. A cool story. And I already saw the Partners Engraved come across the screen in here. So I love the co-branding.
Yes. Yeah. We're trying to help each other with our businesses and our brands as a husband and wife team. So it's fun, man. We're having a lot of fun.
No, that's cool. And we talked about this on our show too. The example that you're setting for your children with the hustle and grit, determination, all the things it takes to be an entrepreneur is really, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
They always say your kids are watching you, even though whatever you're doing, good, bad, or indifferent. So that's cool. And then, you got OMB here. That's unique. I like it. Obviously, something that we were proud of is building their facility or doing the upfit and beer garden and Valentine.
Nice. Yeah, so that's right.
That was cool.
Cool. Well, Patrick, why don't you tell me a little bit about your story? For people who don't know who you are. I would love to always learn about everybody's kind of upbringing.
Yeah.
Tell us a quick story of how did you get to where you are today?
Well, no, and we say the same thing on our podcast. The cool part about this is when you have a guest on the show, Trent calls it speed dating.
Yeah.
Which you always learn in this environment something about the other person that you didn't know before, which is interesting. So to answer your question, I was born in Marietta, Georgia, grew up there, lived there until I was 18 years old, went to Walton High School. There's a few of our alumni here in Charlotte too, which is pretty cool. And from there, I went to school at Clemson. So I went one state north. So I went to school at Clemson,
nice.
Majored in finance, and then had some accounting slipped in there. And then from there, came one more state north to Charlotte at that time in 2004. Started my career as a management trainee at Ferguson Enterprises.
Okay.
Bath showroom.
Yeah.
I was more on the mechanical side. The cool part about Ferguson was they were just growing like crazy at that time. Another buddy of mine from Ferguson, and we always joke, like, we never went through a full box of business cards.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, hey, we need you to do this now. Or,
yes.
hey, we need you to do that. It's like, I'm really not qualified. but okay, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Remarkable training. They really dove into the business side of things, like making sure you understood, even though I was a finance major, the P&L and your branch's P&L, profitability was a really big part of their training program. So it really kind of I thought you think you're kind of running a business when you're at a big corporate company like that. But I was having this conversation with somebody else that you don't really had to be too concerned about cash flow and the things that probably keep you and I up at night.
Right.
In that corporate setting, wonderful training.
So were you selling? Mechanical equipment,
so
HVAC?
No. What I did, I had a couple of different positions, but my primary focus was more commercial industrial mechanical. So pipes, valves, fittings.
Okay.
We didn't really do the equipment on the commercial side at that time at Ferguson. So really had more the process stuff is maybe a better way to look at it. We would get into some pumps and things like that, but really. It was more the rough part of the business.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was great experience. Kind of got to start seeing what contractors do and how their businesses operated. And what was kind of interesting while I was there's a very large HVAC company that was beginning to start to get into plumbing. And they were one of my customers. It was real service based and really got to understand how they operated. It was fascinating to me. So fast forward a little bit further, I had known Trent and Travis Hastings, the Hastings of Andrew Roby, socially and a bit professionally, but they had hired a guy away from Ferguson named Dave McGuire, who is our current COO.
Okay.
And I actually backfilled Dave's position. It was a promotion for me at the time. As a branch manager, and I tell the story quite a bit. It's pretty cool. It kind of shows Dave's character. Even though if you know us and Roby, we give Dave we are all constantly picking at him. But if there was like a report or something I didn't know how to do at Ferguson, when Dave was at Roby, he would, on his lunch break, drive over to the branch in his red Roby pickup truck, walk me through how to do it. And be like, you got it? Yeah, cool. And then he'd go back to work at Roby.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember that like it was yesterday. And then a couple years after Dave had been at Roby, I'll never forget to see. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and we lived in a little townhouse in Elizabeth neighborhood, and he sent me a job description for a general manager of Roby Electric, and I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about electrical.
Yeah.
I know enough to be dangerous about plumbing and mechanical from my time at Ferguson. And I said, look, I don't think this is a good fit for me. He's like, well, just come hear us out. And I was like, okay. I mean, out of respect. Yeah, you've always been a good friend. And so I went and met he and Trent Hastings at the time, who's the co-host, you know pretty well, at Philadelphia restaurant across from the hospital. It's not there anymore, but it's like an old, hole-in-the-wall breakfast place. And they kind of pitched this concept about a home services business at that time.
Yeah.
And it was, we had Roto-Rooter and Ben Franklin on the plumbing side and Morris Jenkins and Brothers and all these other on the HVAC side. But at that time, there really wasn't an electrical service company that really had a name like that. There are several now. But that was the idea. And I was like, okay, well, let me think about it, which was had an opportunity to talk to a couple of mentors that were farther along in business and in life. And pretty much the unanimous answer I would get was, hey, look, like, you've always had this entrepreneurial itch. Like, this is a great opportunity to do it. One guy said, if it doesn't work, you can always get back to selling toilets.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's a good sales technique.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody needs one or two or three, right? So anyway, so we took the leap and it was great. That was 2010. At the same time, my wife was pregnant with our daughter, which is cool. And so there's a lot going on in life. And the downfall at that time, not the downfall, but one of the negatives at Ferguson was they moved you a lot. I'm like, man, I love Charlotte.
Yeah.
My wife loves Charlotte. We met here, all the things. So took that leap of faith. It's been everything that you would think of, with entrepreneurial itch. In 2017, we bought a plumbing company, W.H. Hobbs Plumbing, that had been in Charlotte since 1920. And then we started HVAC at the same time. So at that time, it was just commercial, but residential primarily, service, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, we ended up merging that business into with Roby Commercial to try to vertically integrate some of the trades where it makes sense. And did that. And then Matt Young, who's a great person who you know as well, ended up taking another opportunity. So commercial fully came underneath my bailiwick then, which which has been great. I really love the aspect of the whole scope project on the commercial side.
Yeah.
Seeing it from ground up or seeing it upfit from studs to what it looks like similar to this building, and really knowing how the trades play. The MEP plays a major part in that has been pretty helpful. So very long-winded answer.
Sure.
But that's kind of how I started and where I'm at now.
Yeah. Were you ever, when you were at school still, did you ever think you will get into the construction industry, or how did that happen that you stumble into that industry?
No. To answer your question, I did not. I knew I wanted to do business. I really love business. I love the hustle. I love the grit. I love the sales aspect. I love the operations. I like seeing, studying balance sheets and P&Ls. I really enjoyed that. So I knew I wanted to do something in business. And the funny thing was that my dad worked for a vendor, Ferguson's, when Ferguson Enterprises, when they came to recruit me. And he was like, you can't work there. They're known for, this is a long time ago, they were known for kind of working people into the ground, and you won't like it. And I was like, dang, I don't really have a lot of options here, Pops.
Yeah.
And then he had actually called somebody that was a little more closer to Ferguson at that time, and he called me like a couple of days later. Was like, no, I'm wrong. They've got this remarkable training program. I think it'd be a great fit. So that's really how I got into construction, but more from the business side, not from the technical. I didn't start as a superintendent or work through as a project manager, just more of monitoring the businesses, that type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, and I think very smart move from Roby, Trent, those guys, because most people have like a traditional way to move up in the construction industry, superintendent, project manager, and sometimes they find themselves as leaders, some business leaders, organizations, but they don't have that training and background or love for finances and business, which is what you really need at the front end to succeed at any organization, not only in the construction world.
Well, no, I hope that they think that they made a good decision, but they're pretty. Both Trent and Travis are very forward thinking and have been gracious enough to make me a partner in their business, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that was something that we had talked about at the beginning, and they made they made that a reality sooner than they said they would, which was really good. So I'm very fortunate, very lucky to have great partners like those guys.
Sure.
And when we first started there, Ron Hasten, who I was around still, that was their father. And just one of the men that you really revered. He just had a knack for knowing when, you were about to bust from stress, and would kind of sit at your desk next to you, slouch down and kind of just have a way to get to you and understand that, hey, this might be something bigger, or this will pass, and all the things that you worry about as a young person running a business. That's
awesome. What is your main responsibility with your role today?
So really just kind of leading and guiding, and then some business development on all three really other trades. The home services business kind of is its own anomaly. It's more lead generation based, search engine optimization, marketing. The marketing strategies. Call me, and then you have to perform the quality, and then it's a straight service business. We also do plumbing and electrical contracting and general contracting, of course, as you know, which is run completely different. It's more of a relationship business.
Right.
The quality and the service still has to be there, but it's rare that you have to, like you have a down water heater that you have to respond to within hours. So really just kind of organizing those businesses and getting the opportunity to lead them, and then helping with who goes in what seat. So that's primarily what I'm doing, and then some business development stuff as well. But at the end of the day, it's generally just kind of keeping everybody trying to row in the same direction.
Sure. Yeah. And I know you guys are doing a great job getting into the commercial construction world.
Yeah.
You guys have done really nice projects. We have worked together on some projects, and I hope we continue doing more projects.
100%.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about getting into the commercial world, how that process has been, what has been, one of the surprises, things that you're kind of glad about that you didn't know before.
Well, so we have had Roby Commercials brand since 2010, early 2010. So we've always been doing it, and really the way we answer that question is that we vertically integrate our client. Our residential side is what we cut our teeth on. I mean, I'm wearing this hat from 1950.
Yeah.
Is when the business started by Andrew Roby, who ended up shortening his name, Hungarian immigrant, to Andrew Roby. So we were dealing with the folks that had commercial properties, and they had maintenance needs on the electrical, plumbing, and mechanical side. So that was really the basis. Is if you tell businesses, say they follow the client, and that's what we've really done. That out of necessity, we started commercial with the residential service mindset, but with the commercial know-how and commercial knowledge.
Yeah.
Same with the electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. So that's really how we've had our growth. Now, you're saying the biggest surprise of going to commercial from residential, it's just such a different animal. Commercial is a little more fast-paced. People like you a lot of times are telling us exactly what we need to put in and install, which makes it a little bit easier. Residential, there's a lot of different hands on the construction side, where there's a lot of folks that have decision-making power, and it's a little bit easier to change a spec, as you know, or change a light fixture or plumbing fixtures. It can be changed by a designer, a homeowner, or architect, owner, all the things. So it's just different. I don't know. There's really no huge surprise when I came into this industry. It seems business is business, but you definitely have to be I's dotted, T's crossed 100% of the time.
Yeah. There is a huge difference from the design side, from architectural. Like if you're producing a set of construction drawings for a house versus a commercial project, even if it's small, there's a huge difference in the amount of work and level of detail that you're putting there. In the residential world, I feel the contractors have a lot more control of things, with decision makings. Even just the relationship with the homeowner is very direct. Access to their subcontractors, they can probably provide more options. There's a lot more freedom in there.
Agreed.
Versus the commercial, it becomes more structured. But I think it's more of a liability issue, because I think in the commercial world, what you see from general contractors that they know how to do commercial is they don't make decisions. All decisions are made by the design team. And there is a document that shows either a drawing or a direction, and they go do that. If something goes wrong, they can point to that direction. Yeah. So it's just a transfer of liability.
That's right.
What I'm seeing, I think in the residential world, it's a lot easier to manage. And there are just a few architects that do detailed drawings for residential
you're talking about like electrical plans and things like that. Sometimes those are omitted from a residential project.
Yeah, you never see mechanical HVAC plans for a house. You never see that.
No, you're right.
It's just experience, knowledge, and you know how to do it. But there is also I think a huge advantage on doing both in both worlds, because they both have their pros and cons.
Well, in residential is so personal. Even from our services side. You're where people. That's your sacred area. Is someone's home. I'm not saying an office or hospitality, but anything else commercial is not sacred,
right?
But you're there when the homeowner wakes up. Sometimes you're there when they get home from work. It's a different business for sure, but you do get that opportunity. I think one of the things that you and I talked about when we had breakfast and we were kind of orchestrating this trade-off back and forth podcast was the relationship aspect, which, relationships is construction. That it's probably the most important thing. But you do get that bond. A lot of our residential clients, as I was mentioned before, become friends with their project management team and then utilize us for the hope is for our services and commercial construction and vice versa. So we've seen a lot of that lately. Or the same aspect, like if we go out and change your water heater and do a wonderful job, and you are going to do a commercial or residential project, and you see there's a similarity in the company from a core value standpoint, like your likelihood to use us goes up. If we do a poor job on the water heater, track mud in, and everything goes terribly, like you might have a very large commercial project that you weren't even going to consider us on because we didn't have the detail and the attention and the customer service on something smaller.
Yep, it goes both ways because you guys, in a smaller scale, you can prove the quality of
Yeah,
work, but at the same time, if you don't do a good job in something simple, it's hard for people to trust. And you know how we do business with people we know, like, and trust.
that's right.
So I think it's very effective for you guys building those relationships to start with a very small personal,
Yeah.
relationship, something in your house, and then they gain the trust, and you're like, oh yeah, we can do that as well. So it's a very good, I would say, relationship building tool, and it's very effective because it's working.
Well, yeah, we kind of joke. It's sort of like a gateway drug. I mean, like you do a good job on the small stuff, it leads to the bigger stuff, or do a good job. It can go the other way sometimes too. But
Yeah.
again, it's all vertically integrating that relationship. Just trying to be the go-to source for a customer's needs.
Yeah.
An easy button, so to speak.
The Power of Design podcast is brought to you by OSA Studio, a multidisciplinary design firm focused on creating impactful experiences through the power of design. We partner with our clients to create buildings, interior spaces, brands, and strategies that help you deliver a successful project. As a minority-owned firm, we are committed to building a diverse platform of curious and driven design professionals so we can together pursue our full potential. For more information, please visit us at www.osastudio.com.
What are some of the projects you're most proud of?
Oh man, I mean that's like asking who's your favorite kid, right? I mean, I think it obviously OMB just being here with the can in front of us is one that we're
that
really
place is
proud
amazing.
of. We did a wonderful job at BWF with a really cool design team. This place called OSA Studio. I think you're familiar with it. That was a cool project. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to leave a bunch of them out, but we're working on something really cool right now, a very large neighborhood amenity. We really like that space a lot for some national home builders. I mean, some of these things are phenomenal. It's like a country club in a neighborhood. So very proud of those. Just work on a couple of cool things. We got a Mastercraft boat dealership coming up, which that'll be pretty cool. As somebody, I grew up.
Oh yeah, I saw some pictures of that. You guys are working with Matt Ragona.
That's right.
Yeah, he and we used to work together.
I think I did know that.
Yeah. He's really cool. They do a really good job.
Yeah, so we were that was a referral from an existing client, another client that wonderful client that we've done service work, residential construction, and commercial construction for, referred us to them. So that's very humbling when that happens.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about Roby internally. How you guys manage the organization. I know you and I have talked about EOS and how you guys kind of structure the business. I'm very interested to learn about kind of the organization of how you guys make things happen.
Yeah, so EOS is a wonderful tool. I mean, we've been on it for quite a while now. We started it on the commercial and services side, and it really was from a really close friend that has managed and exited a successful local business. Kind of was the first one that had mentioned it to us. And there's a book called Traction, which I know you're aware of, and most people I think are now. It just kind of spoke to us. Like we would, the divisions that I was a part of were pretty not disorganized to an extent. Is probably a fair way to say it. But we used to tell you this story. We used to have these meetings at 6 a.m. on our trade side, and bring in the leaders of like the plumbing side, electrical, HVAC, and everybody hated it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's trying to lead the meeting. I knew it was boring, and it was like, God, this is painful. Because inevitably, what ends up happening is if you got a group of people around, and one person or one division or one group has the problem, you focus all the time on that problem.
Yeah.
And for others, sometimes it's easy to disassociate or just kind of be like, well, and then in this case, at 6 a.m., people were falling asleep. So we read the traction book, and then within EOS framework, there's something called a level 10 meeting. And so tried that in place of this meeting, and like people kind of set up. And they're like, what's going on here? And got to the edge of their seat. And then at the end, you rank the meeting. That's part of the L10. And we ranked it, and the scores were pretty good. And I was like, okay, now rank the old meetings. And they were like, can we be really honest? I'm like, that's what we want you to be. And it was bad, Jack. It wasn't good. So EOS has been very helpful. So with EOS, you have a visionary, you have a integrator, and then you have all these different various seats on the bus. And not all companies have all the seats. Some people wear 2 hats, all the things. But that was really helpful. It kind of allows people that are in the particular roles to be what they are. And to understand that it's okay to be that way. It's okay for Trent to be the visionary. Like, it's what he does. He's wonderful at it. And then Dave McGuire's an integrator. He's really good at that type of thing. So EOS has given us a really good framework. Now, people kind of always ask, like, okay, so like, how do you do all these things? Like, you have all these different divisions. Well, it really is, businesses run very similarly. The home services is the one outlier of all of our companies. It runs a little bit differently. But we cost the jobs the same on all other businesses for the most part. They do operate in a little bit of different operating systems. So you kind of hire the expertise around the particular business unit, and then we have a group of people that kind of help, CFO, COO, HR director, marketing direct team that kind of help all of the companies. These shared services sort of lend out, and we can go hire the best, whoever, and they, instead of just having one company, they can work on all of them, versus having one for each company.
Right.
And so it's a shared services model. It's not uncommon at all. In fact, Ferguson ran the same way at a much larger scale, obviously, but that's really how we run it, is just, each little sort of layer has its own operator, so to speak. And their expertise is that particular trade or industry.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And that's one of the things I haven't implemented that in my business. We're a small shop, and I'm very intrigued, and I've learned a lot about EOS, but sometimes I feel like, man, maybe we're not ready because we're not big enough. What will you say? What will you tell me about it?
I don't know. That's a tough question. We have Robert Fish as our implementer. He helped us. He also a fellow EOer. But I would challenge that. I don't know. I think that it almost gives a military-like structure. Nobody likes to go to a meeting just to meet. Yeah. And I think to me, that's one of the better parts about EOS, is like, we identify the biggest issues, or Fish calls them opportunities sometimes. And as a group, we collectively say, okay, which one of these is going to move the needle the most for the organization? And we pick that, and we harp on it, and we try to correct it. And you leave the meeting, the hope is, with a sense of accomplishment. Like, okay, we've got some real action here. Yeah. And then you assign to-dos to the people that are responsible for making sure that these things happen. And there's an accountability factor, because you're coming back the next week. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to say if you did it or not. And you don't want to be the one that says you didn't. I was talking with another friend, business owner, and their EOS. I'm not saying we don't do this, but if you don't do the to-do, they have Nerf guns. Oh, wow. You got to like stand up and you get like shot with the Nerf gun.
It's a great idea.
It's all out of fun, right? Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know. I don't know if there's like a set amount of size that says you should or shouldn't, mm-hmm. but it definitely adds a layer of structure that has been very helpful for us. Yeah, I've never heard someone saying, "Oh yeah, we tried it and didn't work, and we didn't like it. Everybody loves it." Yeah. So, and I know people kind of like make iterations of it too. Like, they might not do all the things, but it also there's so many other tools that we probably haven't even scratched the surface with. But there's the people analyzer, and it kind of makes it black and white. Like, hey, a lot of times you have to make tough decisions. Like, is this the right person? And it's a feeling. Yeah. That's hard. Because, I don't know how your brain works, but my brain can start selling both sides. Like, hey, yeah, yes, no. Where there's a tool, do they get it, want it, and have the accountability, or I'm sorry, the get it, GWR, and have the, I'm having a brain fart. Get it, want it. Capacity, thank you. GWC, get it, want it, and capacity to do it. And it's kind of like, is it yes or no? Yes. Does the person get the role? Yes or no? Do they want the role? Sometimes people might have a role they don't want. Yeah. And do they have the capacity to perform the role? Right. And so it makes it a little bit easier. And so it's just littered with all these different types of tools that just make things more black and white.
Yeah, I feel that it takes the emotion out of running the business, which sometimes,
Which is hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not very helpful.
Agreed. I mean, because one of our core values is family. I mean, everybody, them said that the person and their extended family is part of the Roby family. So it is tough. It's hard not to become let it become emotional. These people become very close, and it's difficult. So
Absolutely.
these things can help.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So we talked at the beginning of the podcast about your podcast and radio show.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me more about that? I know you guys have been doing it for a while. I've been a guest a couple of times.
You have?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you know, we've had a recent transition. We were WBT for a long time. And it started out more of about, home trends and things like that. And what we found was that this is before there was a previous host before me. And with Trent. Trent's always been, he's been the steady one through the entire time. And there's only just so much you can talk about, right? I mean, about, what color to paint your cabinets and things like that. And there really is already a home improvement show, still is, called Ask John and Dave on WBT. Those guys are fantastic. And so I think, after a little while doing this, is really Trent's brainchild. He talks to a lot of people through YPO and us now through EO. He's like, I just want to tell stories about, entrepreneurialism and what my friends went through and all the things that they've overcome. And that's where we kind of went with it. And we've been doing it with WBT for forever. And then recently switched over to iHeart to try to hit a more, a broader audience. I mean, it's amazing. There's never really, like, if you talk to entrepreneur, yourself included, certainly at Roby, nothing ever goes like this.
Right.
I mean, and you've seen all the stuff, memes and things. It's a roller coaster. I think you hear all the time, entrepreneurialism is like one of the only places you can go from sheer exuberance to terror within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
And so there's all these ups and downs, and giving people an outlet to talk about that, and tell their story, talk about their families. It's been really cool. And so that's the direction we've gone with the show, and we continue to do so. Through iHeart. WBT is fantastic. Obviously, Charlotte flagship, but we thought we could hit a broader audience by switching platforms.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really fun. And now the fact that you guys started as a radio show, but now you're doubling as a podcast. It's awesome because now the episodes are evergreen in there.
Yeah,
you can always listen to it, and you have attention from maybe an older audience in the radio, but now maybe a younger audience through the podcast platforms.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you and I have talked about this before. Like, you are ahead of the game. I mean, podcasting is becoming very popular now, but how long have you been doing this?
5 years.
5 years. So 5 years ago, when we were kind of doing the same thing, it wasn't what it is now.
Right.
And so the trajectory, you're ahead of the game by quite a bit. And we hopefully are feeling the same thing. You have 102 episodes now.
Right. Yeah.
If you can scratch mine if you want, but living online. I mean, when people go to look and to talk, and the beautiful thing about the podcast and the radio shows we said before is, like, you really get to know somebody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's something to go back to. We could have David from BWF, David Greer, on the show. I hadn't seen him in a little while, and I can go back and listen to his podcast and be like, hey man, that's right, I forgot he did this and this, or whomever. So yeah, it's just a great outlet. Yeah,
it's an awesome tool. And one of the things that what you guys do, which is exactly what I do, is I do mine in person.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that they do only, via Zoom or, virtual. I've done probably 2 virtual, but the sitting down with someone face to face, having a drink, having a conversation that is deeper than the conversations you have socially, right, or maybe in a project setting, it really helps people connect more with each other.
Agreed. And I will say that we do some of ours virtually too. And COVID that's when we started doing virtual. We really didn't do any virtually until COVID, but the ability to do some virtually is we're opening up the doors to people who live in Mississippi and Alabama and Florida and all the different, Georgia, Virginia. different places that we couldn't have before. In fact, there's I got a real funny picture. Like one time Trent couldn't make it or something. It was just me in the studio. So I got an iPad with his picture on it at the microphone, and opened it up next to the microphone. Yeah. And it's kind of like he was there, but he wasn't. And we were doing that with some of the guests to kind of make it more personable. But man, that was an interesting time for the radio show there. It was really cool to talk to people about how they were navigating it and how, particular businesses went from whatever revenue they had to zero overnight and how they pivoted. Just some really remarkable stories came out of that.
Oh yeah. And on my end, and I love to hear your experience of that story. So on my end, I feel that after doing 100 episodes, and keep in mind, I'm an introvert. English is my second language. Yeah. I didn't grow up here. I don't have family or strong, long ties. I can only
imagine, yeah.
So doing the podcast has been an amazing tool for me to, one, develop my own communication style. So I feel much better communicator. I feel that I connect with people a lot better. And then I develop deeper relationships because people remember you, right?
Yes.
People know who you are. You have a good time with them. You talk about topics you may not talk to everyone. So for me, it has been amazing. I love to continue doing podcasts forever. And I always say, if no one ever listen to my podcast, I'm still good.
Yeah.
Every podcast recording I do, I'm a better person because I'm learning from somebody else.
No, I think that's one of the things too. And you do a wonderful job of marketing your show on LinkedIn. And I'm not huge on the other social media platforms personally, but I'm constantly on LinkedIn. And you do a really good job. And you can tell by the quality of guests that they do know you. I mean, it's working what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm at the bottom of the totem pole for the quality of guests that you have on. So that's a really good way to look at it. And the relationships you form, it's a memorable thing that you can do for somebody,
right?
That not everybody else can. You and I could go golfing, and anybody could go golfing with you. We could go fishing, or we could, I don't know, go run a 5K or something. But this is a very unique opportunity, and what we love about it is it gives a person the opportunity to kind of talk about what they've done and their family and all the things that are important to them, which they might not do that in another setting. So it is a really unique tool to use, even if nobody listens to it, because you give an experience that no one else can.
Yeah, I feel that the biggest thing that we're giving to our guests is we're giving them attention.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we live in a world that we're so distracted, with phones, email, and we're here and there, and we're in a meeting, and you need to go to the next meeting, that just to pause for a while and say, hey, I'm going to give you my undivided attention for 30, 40 minutes, and I want to listen to your story and what you have to say.
Yeah.
Which we all want attention.
That's true.
Whether we're in business or not, we all want to be accepted. We want to communicate. We want to make our point, and just giving that platform for people to feel like that. I feel that's one of the biggest benefits that we're providing to people.
No, you make a really good point, and the phone things is a real thing. We had a meeting recently where it was a group of people within Roby, and we were asked to put our phones away. And we do this with EO forums a lot. I know you're trying to keep your phone away. And then the richness of the conversation about a half an hour after that was drastically different than it was before. And there's a lot of times where you can't do that. I get it, but the ability just to focus is really tough these days. I mean, everything's on fire. I don't know if you keep notifications on your phone. I actually tried to turn all mine off because it's that dopamine hit of something popping up on your phone. I got to go check it. And it only gets going to get worse as generations continue. I mean, our kids grew up with phones pretty much. I mean, I had a pager when I was in high school. That was cool. Dating ourselves here, but yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, nice. So one of the questions I'd like to ask you today is my final question to you. Do you have a question for me?
Do I have a question for you?
Yep.
What is your long-term plan? I mean, where do you want to take this business?
Wow, thank you. That's a good question. So it's interesting because I feel that it changes. So I've been in business 8 years. Tomorrow I told you I'm celebrating 8 years in business. Hope to see you here if you can.
All right.
So it had changed, but I will say what it is today because, I have my family, I have my wife, we have three children. Jacob is 16, Juliana 13, Jonah is 8. So at this point, what I love to do is, I will say phase one is grow the business more so I can focus on the tasks that I'm excel at, which is going to be, I would say, selling front-end business relationships and maybe a little bit of front-end design, and then kind of delegate all the operations and execution of the work. And then after that, continue growing so I can be in a position where I can focus on, growing the brand, maybe growing to other type of services because, we do architecture, we do brand design, podcasting have become a big part of my life. So I would love to grow podcasting a lot more and maybe work on connecting with a bigger audience, telling the story about who we are, growing the team, and eventually just continue having more free time and more money to spend those two things with my family. That's my goal.
Man, at the end of the day, I think we're all after time, and we be around people that we love and care about. I think he said, know, like, and trust, which is important. I mean, your family, my wife Jody, my daughter Scarlett, and I mean, that's what you do this for. But then you get a chance to be with people at work that you grow these relationships with. We have so many, that I'm fortunate enough to be around all the time, and just having a good time with people that you like and enjoy. That's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, nobody really wants to go to work and be miserable.
Yep.
And so that's really cool that you said that. And you are such a nice person. I don't really believe you as being an introvert, but maybe you work really hard to
I do
to not be one. But you got me fooled. That's good.
Cool. Well, Patrick, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, man.
I'm very happy that we made this happen. I'm very proud of you, all the work that you've been doing. I mean, I know you've been working really hard, and I know you have a bright future ahead of you. And I look forward to staying together and do more projects.
Well, that's very, very kind, but it's really the folks that I'm lucky enough to work alongside that deserve the credit. For
awesome.
Sure.
Thanks, Patrick. Thank you for listening to the Power of Design podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review if you like this content. And find us online at thepowerofdesignpodcast.com. I invite you to join my mission to become a better version of yourself through the power of design.